And we're live. Welcome all to the Invictus community stream. This is our second ever game for our community. We're so excited. We've got Jeff as our GM. Appreciate you guys. We appreciate you for that, for getting all that set up for us. We also have Juan. He's representing the northeast coast.
Yes, indeed.
And we've got Gerard Michael from the Philippines, right? Am I correct?
No. From Singapore.
Singapore. I don't know my geography.
Way off.
And we got
Way
Oskar.
off, but it's alright, We're at the vlog, which means basically good afternoon in Norwegian.
There we go, guys.
All
Well,
right.
hey, I'm super excited for us to get started. We're doing introductions right now, so we'd also like to acknowledge the Invictus stream itself. If you're not a part of that, go ahead and check out Invictus Stream on YouTube. Get involved with that. Look at all the awesome the campaigns that they've done, some of the one-offs with the Zombie Apocalypse and the End of the World series. We'd also like for you to join us at the Invictus community stream. That's actually how all of this started. The Invictus guys put together this Facebook community, and we're able to get together and enjoy the games as they play them, use our XP, earn XP, and use our XP. It's really, really fun. So please come join us, and we'd love to have you. Also, too, if you're a part of the community, we also have the availability for you guys to be on and play with us, guys, so that we can get some games started for you guys. Maybe your location doesn't lend itself well to actually playing role-playing games, and that's exactly why we started this, so that we can have everybody be a part of this. We're super excited. So, and this is going to be our Dungeon World game that is set up by Jeff and a lot of the other guys. And we also have Marius, like the super shout out to that guy for being on. Unfortunately, some technical difficulties and internet issues and stuff, and just kind of, we weren't able to have Marius on, but we, super missed that guy, and we're so excited. He was an integral part to actually contributing to the story and really adding a lot of stuff, and we're so excited to be able to honor that. So anyway, that's all that I have. Make sure to check out the Invictus stream on Wednesdays. Also, too, there's more information in the description to this video. So I'll turn it over to our game master.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Chris. Appreciate it.
Guys.
And
I'm going to go ahead and get off, so we'll see you guys, and I'm going to go work while you guys play. So
That's right. That's right. Have fun, sir.
See ya.
Yeah.
So thanks a lot to Chris for getting this organized, and thanks a lot to the folks in the Invictus stream for making this possible. So just wanted to throw that out there. I'll probably throw out my profuse gratitudes at the end of this as well. But yeah, so let's get started. So if you guys have been able to take a listen to our session 0, then you already know that we've spent some time character building. Part of what makes Dungeon World really awesome is that at the very onset, even without a session 0, the beginning of the game and throughout the game is a creation of narrative. So we're taking our time to build this story, build our characters, build our interactions through bonds, and then build the world around us. So we're going to have a lot of fun with this. I'm really excited with these guys. If you even saw half the things that these guys are posting, it's triple the amount of information than you saw in the video. It's just really amazing how invested these guys are. And so my hat's off to you guys, and especially Marius. We're definitely honoring his creative process, because we're going to bring some of his material in as well. So, all right, without further ado, let's go around the table and introduce each other. I'm Jeff Rummel, your game master, as mentioned. We'll go from my left across the board, and we'll start with, we'll start with Juan. Why don't you give us a quick description of your character?
Okay, I am Jutmerlum. I am a dwarf barbarian, and basically, again, if you didn't catch Session Zero, he is an outsider. He's an ex-diplomat turned barbarian because of the corrupt things that the Thane did. So he is now embarking on this quest to see if there's any possible hope for the Palestone clan to be revived. And I am currently in the accompaniment of Ashley Wick by finding her through her troop.
Very cool. And speaking of which, let's go on to Gerard, who is playing Ashley Wick. A little bit about your character.
Alright, I'm Ashley Wick, and I am a emulator and traveling performer known as the Flaming Maiden, and I am in search of for knowledge and understanding of my power. But what am I willing to sacrifice for that knowledge?
Nice, nice. I love it.
Yep.
All right, and then we are here to introduce Oskar, who will be playing Brynjar Oakenshield. So, who's your character? What's he about?
Well, as I said, his name is Brynjar Oakenshield. He is a fighter dwarf and the ex-executioner of the Palestone clan, with a heavy conscience after all the things he's done and the wrongdoing in his life. And he now is searching for a way to redeem himself and restore the honor of the clan. And he suddenly met Ashley and Jutmerlum, who, if you watch the Session 0, you'd know he has some connection with Jutmerlum, which is yet to be revealed.
That's right. That's right. Nice. Adding a little mystery. Okay, well, let's go ahead and set the scene here. As was warned before, we're going to start off in the middle of things. So, get your dice ready.
Oh boy.
Let's begin.
Literally right into this, okay.
That's right.
I'm gonna die!
So let's open up the scene here. We'll kind of set a little bit of tone. So kind of thinking in my mind, I usually think of cinematics when I get into these games, especially when opening a scene. So it's black, and words come up onto the screen. It's written in an old style cursive, and the words read, and you hear a voiceover actually that says, "For 1,000 years we have held this secret for you. We have kept it buried for you. But when the duty came at the cost of our corruption, our world changed. Knowledge was once our honor. Now it is what blackens our souls. One day it will be our redemption." And it's a quote from a fellow named Krieg the Ironhand. So the camera opens up on a small city on the edge of a lake. The city is called Southold. It's moderately sized, maybe 5,000-6,000 souls that are ensconced within its walls. And the camera moves across the rooftops, the high-peaked shingled roofs, and into a small lounge room or a study. And there's a man sitting in front of a fireplace. He's old. His skin is rather wrinkled. He's got one deep blue eye, and the other one is covered up with an eye patch. And he is staring into a fireplace, and he's worried. The camera zooms down to the arm of the chair where his bony hand is tapping along, as if in anticipation that something is about to happen.
Okay.
And across the street, across the city, away from this house, we have a window. It's a beautifully ornate window. It's about two stories up. And below hand is a fishmonger, and he has a broad canopy above his cart, and he's yelling out the wares of the morning. And the sun is just cresting across a gray sky. The camera comes back to that window. It has etchings in it. It has a beautiful myriad of colors that are picking up just the small ounces of light that are issued through the gray cloud. But then those little etchings start to spider out, and they spider further further and further, and then more rapidly. And then the window crashes towards the camera. And we see a dwarf come flying through. So why is Juan? I'm sorry. Why is Jutmerlum flying through a window right now?
We were hired out. No, not hired out. We were contacted by one of my former employers that there is a secret to be found in said building where a window is crashing from. So, I don't know. What do you want me to roll to see if I survive the fall?
Why don't we just go ahead and get started? So,
oh boy.
let's start with what's called a defy danger.
Defy danger.
That is one of the basic moves.
Okay.
And defy danger can be based off of any number of things that we can argue about, whether it's dexterity, constitution, that sort of thing. So depending upon what your strengths are as a character, we can roll with that.
I think in this case, dexterity is I'm crashing through a window. There's no way around it. I'm physically doing something. I think it's going to be a dexterity roll, even though I'm like a neutral in that. So it's 2d6, right?
Correct. So 2d6 plus your dexterity modifier.
Which is nothing. And I get a 4.
All right.
Okay.
So mark XP. So this means that you get an experience point.
Okay, I get 1.
Yeah, you get 1 XP for that.
All right.
And that's a phrase that we're going to hear at any time folks roll a 6 or less on a particular roll. And it's kind of the grade marker. So if you haven't watched session 0 yet, hit pause. What are you doing? Go back and watch it.
Yes, please
but
do.
if you don't have the time and you're running through this adventure, rolling 2d6, adding a modifier is going to give us a gradient of success or failure in this particular case. A 6 or less indicates that something has gone wrong and what you wanted to get didn't actually happen. Then I kind of add in a little bit of a motivation or a change or a twist on what's actually happening in the narrative. Then, if you get a 7 to 9, you get the thing that you want, but there is going to be a bit of a consequence, a trade. And then finally, if it's a 10 or more, you get what you want in spectacular fashion.
Mm-hmm.
So Jutmerlum is making his way towards the glass, and as the camera is panning back, we see that this is a 3-story library that he is crashing through the window of. He makes it through. He's barreling through the glass, but it's not of his own intention. He is currently ensnared with a guard who has him in his grip at this point. And has been willing to sacrifice himself to go through this window and crash to the street below. Now, I'm going to go ahead and have you roll 1d4.
1d4?
Mm-hmm. And this is going to represent the damage that you get with the fisticuffs that are going on as he's bringing you through the glass.
So I roll a 3. All
right, so take 3 points of damage. And as you're crashing through this window, you come careening down onto this fishmonger's stall. Thankfully, with the tarp there, you're able to hit that, take the brunt of it with this guard on top of you, and end up in the street right in front of the fishmonger's cart, where a basket of fish that has just been freshly cleaned, thankfully, spills onto both of you. Now, to the left and to the right of this situation, hidden in the shadows and waiting patiently, are Ashley Wick and Brynjar Oakenshield. So what are you guys doing as you see this happening? You sent Jutmerlum in to retrieve an item, or a couple of items, as it were. We'll talk about that in a moment. What have you guys been doing? What was your position in your jobs? And either one of you can go. If you want to start, Ashley, that's fine, and then Brynjar, we can go with you.
Go, Ashley.
I guess we were outside, casing the area, watching for guards, being a lookout for Jutmerlum.
Okay.
And as soon as Jutmerlum just crashes through the glass window with the guard, I look over at Brynjar and I'm like, well, so much.
And I look back at Ashley and just
No.
nod and run towards them.
Okay.
It's not time to waste. He might be dead.
Okay. Well, that might be kind of an exploration of things, what we call discern realities. Do both of you want to potentially roll that to try and see what's happening? And that roll is going to be plus your wisdom modifier.
Okay.
So you can roll your 2d6 and then just add that result there.
I don't have any modifier.
Okay, no worries.
My wisdom is a +1.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
And mine is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
All right, excellent. Okay, so both of you see this as you guys are both approaching this melee that's spilled onto your feet. The first thing that you notice is that Brynjar is that the guardsman that's with him. It looks like he's been wounded a couple times, potentially in a fight that was with Jutmerlum. But he is very dedicated and very intent on getting or retrieving a box that Jutmerlum holds tucked into the nook of his arm. The box is roughly the size of, let's say, a bread box. It is exactly looks like the size of a bread box, but it's made of strong wood and iron bands. Now, Brynjar, with your additional success, you do see up above that there are 2 more guards waiting out the window, and they look like they're about to jump down too. And Ashley, what you notice is that the fish that's along the ground right here is going to make traversing into this battle a little difficult, so you may want to be wary. Right, so what do you guys want to do with that?
I put my foot down at the guard's arm to prevent him from taking the box.
Nice. Okay. All right. And then Jutmerlum, what are you doing at this point?
I'm trying to get up in the midst of all this fish and chaos at the moment. I'm trying to get my bearings down to just prepare myself for the incoming fight that's about to be.
Okay. All right. Let's do this. Let's see how successful that's going to be, and then kind of build off of that effort. So I'll have you roll a Defy Danger. Now, since you're trying to play muscle your way out, do you think maybe strength might be an option here?
Strength, or I can do by enduring, since I know I just took the fall.
Nice. So maybe a Constitution. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
I'll buy that. Go for it.
All right. So let's do that.
And then add a +1 because Brynjar is aiding you. So
all right, then. So I have a +3 due to my modifier of the Constitution. So I have a 12.
Ooh, my goodness! You get a lot more than what you want. So tell me what it looks like when you jump out of this altercation and regain your feet.
So basically, it's like, in order for me to make sure I have positioning just in case the battle's about to be, so I roll out of the way and put myself up, making sure I have some distance in the case that he wants to lunge forward and I have time to pull back, if anything, just to prepare myself.
Nice. And that comes off without a hitch. I mean, you get up, you gain your feet, you've got the object of your efforts is tucked snugly into your arm against your chest, and you're ready for action. And Brynjar, you've got a bit of an advantage over this guy because of how successful Jutmerlum was in getting up. So what are you doing?
I'll pull out my axe, which is really long, and
it's a really long axe.
It's a badass axe. I won't kill the guard, but I'll try to stun him if that's possible.
Nice. Okay, so why don't you give me a hack and slash? I'm gonna say just your regular modifier. So in this case, I would assume you're using your strength, or you're using your dex because you're trying to be a little careful.
Yeah, I think I'd use dex to use that,
right.
so I get +1.
All right, let's do that.
2d6 +1.
Nice.
So 10.
All right. So Brynjar winds up with his axe, and at the last minute turns it on its side, and I'm assuming that's what you're doing. Or what would you rather use? Are you going to use the butt of the axe?
Yeah, the end of it.
All right. Okay. So you do that. Now, Ashley, so you're hearing the guardsmen calling from the second floor above you. What are you doing right now? You see Brynjar. It looks like he may have successfully dispatched this figure. And Brynjar, go ahead and roll your damage on that.
Okay.
So while he's doing that, Ashley, what do you have?
Okay. So there's two guys upstairs, right? And they're on their way down, right?
It might be that they are looking, because of the success you received. I introduced a little bit of a twist in that they were going to run towards the stairs, but now that they see their fellow is in dire straits, they look to be ready to jump down as well.
Firstly, are there any like open flames, like candles or something around the place?
Actually, yeah. And we can talk a little bit more about the weather, but because this is early in the morning and this is, for all intents and purposes, a lake town, it does have a bit of a chill in the morning. So there are a couple of torches that are, thankfully, weren't knocked down with the crash of Jutmerlum and the guard. There's a couple of torches flickering right there.
Okay. Okay. What I'm gonna do is firstly I look over to Brynjar and tell them, okay, guys, you got it. And I go to the nearest torch, and then I'm gonna sacrifice my voice and inhale the flame.
Okay.
No.
And blow them up using my starting move, Zuko style. To blow them at the door that they're gonna go through, or they're gonna come in from.
Okay. All right. So it's kind of up towards the window and then around the door that they're emerging from. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, let's see. So what aspect of your ability are you using here?
For Zuko style, it will be wisdom. I roll plus wisdom.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and do
So 2d6, right?
2d6 plus your wisdom modifier. You got it.
My wisdom is 1. Go. Oh, okay, cool.
Nice. Very nice roll.
11.
Mow that. All right. So you see one of the guards is climbing out of the window, and he's about ready to make his jump. He's like buoying himself. He gets a little fearful at the last second, but then Brynjar, you bring down the butt of your axe. And in case guys didn't see that, his roll was a solid 8. He rolled a d8 for his particular damage. Each character class has a damage dice that they use, and it's modified depending upon what they're trying to do. And in Brynjar's case, he maxed out his dice, and I would say in one strike, because of the success and the damage, you didn't kill him. You got what you wanted. You knocked him out. He's out.
I'm actually using a D10.
Oh, you're using a
okay.
D10. Okay, well,
Yeah.
still, that's
Almost.
pretty close to max. But that's enough to knock him out easily. And when the guard who was about to hesitate, who was going to go back in, he sees this. He's like, no, and he's about to jump. And then all of a sudden, Ashley just blasts out flames from her mouth and towards that window and towards the front door that's not a few paces away, that you see the door is actually moving to be opened. So your timing, your roll, and what's happening here is just spot on. That's exactly what you needed to do. Go ahead and roll your damage dice here, just so I can see what kind of level of damage we're dealing with.
My damage is a d8.
Okay.
Here we go. No modifiers, right?
No, you got everything that you wanted, so you're not gonna have to worry about that. So, but yeah, just no modifiers, just the D8 for now.
Okay. It's a 4.
Okay. All right. So the flames kind of coalesce around the door, and you start seeing some embers start to catch on the hardwood. And then up on the window, the guard that was about to jump down, he leaps backward in pain as he clutches his face and falls back into the room. And then you start hearing the crowd around you, the early morning market crowd, start to realize just what's happening. So let's go back to Jutmerlum. Jutmerlum, you're successful in what you wanted to get. You had a spectacular crash through a window that could have ended in disaster, but didn't. What are you doing?
I am here. If anything, I'm going to discern realities just to make sure there is no incoming guards in the crowds.
Perfect. Go ahead.
So let's do that. We're going to do this plus the wisdom modifier, which is a +1, and we get a 5. Okay, mark XP.
Mark XP. That's for sure.
You see fish.
I see fish. Fish are scary.
So, in something about discern realities, we're kind of rolling into this game super fast, and what ends up happening is that with discern realities, when you get a 10 or plus, you can ask a few questions that are kind of listed out, some basic questions about what's happening in the scene. If you get a 7 to 9, you only get one question to ask, but for that answer, you get to take a +1 forward for your actions, and that was one of the reasons that I gave, I think it was Jutmerlum. I gave you that +1 because it's not just that Brynjar was interfering, but it was also the fact that, in a good way, interfering, but it was also because of his exceptional perception and discerning realities. So, okay, so we'll kind of work with that. We'll bring that option into the game as we go forward. All right, so you look around and you're trying to discern like what's going on, but all of a sudden your field of vision is filled with this old man with long mustachios. He's a human, and his mustaches are hanging down to his chest, and he's got little beads and stuff that are woven into it, and it's so clear in front of you because you're intently looking around, and you look right in front of you. You're so focused on this guy for some reason because of the adrenaline and everything. You can see the little beads, and they're carved with little fish heads, like little runes of fish that are all along the mustachios that are hanging down. And he's yelling at you, "Why are you on my cart? You have ruined my business for the day. What are you, some kind of thief, some kind of ruffian?" And he's an old guy. Yeah. So what do you do? What's Jutmerlum's mind at right now?
Let's see. To be honest, I'm just going to bypass it. I'm going to throw him 5 coins and say, "There's your worth. Take it. Do not worry about anything else." I'm giving up 5 of my coin.
I like that. So you're actually, it'd be as close to a parlay as I could actually see it. So I think we should try that, and that's going to be a 2d6 plus your charisma modifier.
Oh dear.
Let's get some more XP.
Okay, I got an 11. I have an 11.
Nice.
-1, so I need to do that though. Right.
So what is it about you that is binding this old fishmonger to you? What is it that's so magnetic? Is it a coin or is it something else?
I think he sees that I just jumped out of the 3-story window and I am barely touched. That he's like, I think I should just take the money and leave with my day.
Nice. All right. So the fishmonger does exactly that. In fact, you see an elderly woman come rushing up next to him, and she says, Tromji, come back, let this man go, come, and he's looking at you and looking at the coin in his hands, looking at you, looking at the coin in his hands, and he's like, get out of here, hurry, there's a watch station not a block away, go. He comes back. So yeah, your parlay brought about some nice little bonuses.
Nice.
So what do you all do now? There's kind of a quiet now.
Actually, let me ask something really quickly. You saw I rolled 2 6s. Will that be the same as a natural 20 in terms of?
It just means, well, no. It can actually. It can actually create a little bit more of a breadth to the fiction, and we can work that in. I think with just the outstanding success, I'm kind of giving you.
Fair enough. I just realized that I did roll 2 6s. I'm like, oh.
And you know what? we may be able to work something into that if something happens in combat or there's a crucial moment, especially if that happens and there's a max die thing, something spectacular will happen. So
Okay.
So yeah, good point. Good point. I like that. Let's rope that in. So okay. So what do you guys want?
I have a question. Sorry.
Please.
I have a question. This is a bit of a hindsight on my side because I mentioned that Ashley sacrificed her voice to spew fire, and is that permanent?
No. All right.
Okay.
If we start getting to some of the
you'll
more
eventually
powerful things, that's when you would need to be a little bit more concerned with permanence. And for folks playing the home game, this Ashley is playing is an emulator, and she gets her power through sacrifice. Again, go back and watch the session 0. She gets her power through sacrifice, and the bigger the sacrifice, the bigger the result. And I think I understood your intention there. So it's not going to be permanent. But at this point right now, you're not going to be able to speak. In fact, let's leave it up to the die. Why don't you roll a d4 for me? And do your damage dice, and that will be how long in minutes that you're going to be without a voice.
3 minutes.
All right. So for the next 3 minutes, there's this rasp that you have to your voice that you can't utter any words. It's just yeah, exactly. Okay. So what are you guys doing? Who's gonna make the next move?
I think I'll take the box since I knocked out the card already.
Okay.
Okay, so I give then Brynjar the box, and then as I'm giving him, I mentioned to him, we should get out of here. There's a watchtower near, just only a block away. We don't have much time before they start sending the troops in.
What are we waiting for then? Let's go! I say and sheath my axe and start driving away.
Alright, and then we'd make sure Ashley's dragging behind us.
I nod and like gesture to them like.
Yes, we're going. We're leaving.
Right.
Oh, woman, run!
Right. So you guys dash off into the early morning streets amidst the gathering crowd, who are just There's a couple of gosh, and here's an opportunity to do a little world building.
Okay.
Southwold is a blank map. I have a couple of ideas of what I want to have done. And so let's do this. I'm going to go ahead and share with you real quick the map of Southwold. And again, it's blank, and it's an opportunity for us to kind of do a little world building. So let me share that with you.
By the way, Juan, I didn't know that you had the box. I thought the guard still had the box.
No, I had the box. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't mean to take it away from me.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's okay. I mean, however you guys want to play it out, if you want it to happen, it'll happen. If not, that's fine. So, all right. So here is Southwold. It is a blank slate. And I would say that the library that you're with, or that you just emerged from, rather rapidly, is probably relatively close to the harbor area, just because you have a fishmonger there, you have the chill of the lake water, or the lake coming across the opening of the city there. So I would say you'd need to get across town in order to make it to your employer's home.
Okay.
So how are you making this escape? Is it a beeline? Are you what's your method of egress?
Okay. I think question, have I been in the city before?
I don't know, you tell me.
I mean, if my employer is here and I know the employer, that means I have had to visit him at some point.
Yeah.
So
quite reasonable.
I'm going to say that I do at least have a general knowledge of the town, and okay. I suggest to the people, to the guys, it's not going to be very easy to just beeline straight towards the inn. It's our best bet to just do a roundabout, sticking to the back alleys, and just taking our time with it so we know we don't have anyone following us.
Yeah, agreed. And let's try to stay away from the walls filled with guards everywhere.
Actually, not.
Alright.
Like,
Ashley can't speak. She's just going and she just follow us.
Yeah, she just thumbs up.
like,
Just like,
Is that a second language we can take? Sign language.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, we'll have to like start just run fast. All right, so you guys are barreling through the streets here, taking the back alleys, that sort of thing. Why don't we do this? Again, we want to have the fiction enhanced by the dice, and not detract from it. Let's see here. I will have you guys. Let's actually, you know what? Let's do this. Because you have been in the city before, Jutmerlum, and this could be a situation where both of you have, all of you have been in this city before. Actually, it could be through your background, being in the menagerie, that you've been to this city before. And I'll also go out on a limb and say, Brynjar, let's say that parts of the Pale Mountain clan are here. So there are some representatives here. So this may be a place that you've been before.
Perhaps. Yesterday's been there in his youth.
Right. Okay. So let's do this. Jutmerlum, you were going through and you were kind of describing some of the places that you need to go. I'm going to say that we'll call that a spout lore. And
Okay,
this is when
lore.
you want to consult accumulated knowledge about something. So you want to roll 2d6 plus your intelligence modifier.
Perfect. I have a 12.
Wow. See, making up for all of the other stuff that happens.
I made sure for some reason I had. Wait, is it intelligence? Okay, sorry, it's 11. 11, not wisdom. My bad.
Oh, no worries. No worries. It's still spectacular. So you definitely get the thing that you want. Now, you're able to kind of give some information about this. You know, you were talking a little bit about work in the back alleys and stuff, but there's some additional information that might be rather helpful to you. And that is, when you return to town, I don't know, how long have you guys been in town? Because I would assume you met outside of town and have returned here to follow this lead.
Yeah, I say we've been around for a month, just scoping out the area, making sure we know the patterns of the guards, so we have that accessibility into the library.
Excellent. So you are uniquely aware of two things, and that's because of your bits of information that are interesting and useful, and they're basically going to be subject to your situation, of relevance to your situation now.
Okay.
Number one is that you know the Thane of the Pale Mountain clan and his followers are in town, and they've been here for quite some time. Now, this isn't a surprise to you, just simply because this is one of the home bases that are remaining for the Pale Mountain clan. In fact, they haven't been back to some of the old halls that were once theirs for centuries and quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
So you know expertly what areas you need to avoid, especially because of this second bit of information, and that is the Thane has brought along what is called the Ghost Eyes. And I'll leave one part of information, the rest we can kind of build as we want. The Ghost Eyes are a group of mercenaries that the Thane has hired. You don't know what for, but we can start building in their mythos as we go. So what's something interesting that you know about these Ghost Eyes?
They are very, very exclusive and very expensive, as being basically a mercenary myself, but more commercial, you may say. You do hear awares of just other groups and stuff like that, but since Jutmerlum was always running solo, he never really encountered, he'd only heard. So the Ghost Eyes, very exclusive, very expensive, and they get their job done. So the fact that the Thane has hired out the Ghost Eyes for whatever they may be, that means the Thane has spent a significant amount of coin in order to get something done quickly, efficiently, and accurately.
Nice. Okay. Now, how do you guys respond to this information? Let's say like you're heading down an alley, and again, because of your exceptional spout lore and your knowledge of the city for this last month, getting a feel for it, you're able to duck into an alley because you recognize one of these guys. There's a certain element or a certain what would it be that helps you identify one of these ghost eyes?
I think it might have been the emblem on one of the shields or armor,
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
resembling a ghost holding a sword and a fire in the left hand, symbolizing the power and force within the souls to fight for gold and glory.
Nice. Okay. Anything you want to add to that, Ashley?
No, I think Brynjar's got it spot on here. I think it's really good.
And you're good with that, Jutmerlum? You like that?
Yes, and honestly, to just make the severity, I would like to include that their left eye is actually like blinded. They're forced to go through this process where, in order to be initiated into the ghost eyes, they have to show their dedication, so they have to blind their left eye, representing the ghost eye.
Oh, I like that. Wow. Okay, so what does that? Oh my gosh, I just got a chill, and I'll tell you guys why later. So why do you think that they would have? I understand the ritual of it, and I like that. I like that a lot. That it represents kind of like giving something, but in order to be an effective mercenary, you really need two eyes. So what goes in replacement?
Training and skill.
No, I'd say that there's something more in that ritual. Yes, they give up their left eye to see the natural world, but in return they get something more. They see into the very souls of the people that they're hunting. So it's more not like an actual.
Their left eye or the right eye?
Their left eye. So that through that same left eye, that's now they're considered ghost eye. They see through the person, so they can naturally discern realities without having to like do anything extra.
Nice. Okay. I'm going to add something onto that, but we'll talk about that later. All right. I like these. I like this a lot. Okay. So, kind of knowing what you guys are building off of these guys, that sounds like they're not just super efficient mercenaries. These guys are flipping dangerous on a different level.
Yeah.
So what's going through your minds right now as you see this person kind of flowing through the crowd, looking around? It's just, he's got that kind of unnatural walk that's just so smooth that it's borderline inhuman. And as he's looking around, he looks towards the alley where you guys are hiding. He doesn't see you, but what's going through your minds as you witness this? Maybe I'll start with Ashley, just because I haven't heard much from you.
Okay. Well, first thing I'm thinking is we're so screwed. Then I tap at Brynjar, and then I kind of gesture to him, like I point at my left eye, and then like gesture like ghost.
How do you?
What, you got something in your eye?
She shakes it. Wait.
I will take.
I
I will personally like to do a strength roll to just knock him upside the head, please.
I didn't mean to say that.
So I'm gonna roll 2d6, and we're gonna get
roll something.
All right.
But no, but yeah, I turned to Brynjar and said, she's referring to the ghost eyes. They're here. They're near.
Yeah. Then I point at Jutmerlum and like I'm like, you got it right.
Mm-hmm.
And like signal like, stay low, be quiet.
And I simply nod.
Well noted, because if we do anything out of turn, they will see us through this crowd, and they will find us. So we have to blend it as much as possible right now.
I want to have you guys know, you guys are going to get where you want, just because Jutmerlum rolled spectacularly. So you guys are going to get to the place that you want in wonderful fashion. But I do want to have all of you roll for me Defy Danger. And this for this particular scene. So what would you use to stay hidden? Is it a dexterity thing? Are you going to maybe involve yourself with part of the crowd or something where you're trying to, blend in? What's the appropriate one for this defy danger?
I think since like we're all sort of like freaking out that yes, there's the ghost eye mercenary like near us. I'd say mental fortitude, like having the concentration to make sure that we blend in.
Ooh, nice call. Okay, so we'll have you use your what would that be? Your wisdom, I guess.
Yeah, wisdom.
Yeah, mental fortitude. There we go. I see it. All right, and then how about you guys, Ashley, Brynjar? What would you like to use?
I think I'll be using wisdom as well to sort of remain calm and just act natural. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I see you, Jutmerlum. We'll get to you in a second.
Okay.
And mark XP, by the way. Do that. And then so Ashley, go ahead and roll yours. And then Brynjar, what's your estimate? What would you like to use?
Is it possible for me to use Constitution to keep breathing and just try to be calm, not over agitate and stress?
Okay.
Is that
I'll
possible? Or
accept
should I
that.
use Wisdom?
Okay. No, go ahead and use Constitution. I can see that. And then I also see you, Ashley. I see your wow.
A
No,
natural.
I'll make it.
Natural. She's a natural with the crowd.
So
Like
all right.
struggling,
So okay. So Jutmerlum, you're seeing this person kind of ghosting through the crowd, and they look towards your general. They're looking towards your general direction, but when you see this, you feel like they're looking right at you, and there's a flood of memories that come back on you that of that fateful night when you made your escape from the Pale Mountain clan. Now, something about this particular individual makes you think of somebody who was chasing you and who had their hands around your throat. But something happened in the midst of all that passion to get away and the desire to escape that's just kind of bleeding together like so many liquids of fear and anger and rage and passion, and it's just overwhelming for you. So what kind of element do you remember of that evening? What ties you to this fear right now?
You say him holding my neck or me holding his neck?
You're about to make good your escape, but for some reason there's an element of deep into your spine.
Okay.
And you feel hands that grab onto your shoulder and grab onto your throat. Now you escape, you make it away.
No.
But
I think in that case then it was the element of seeing the fear in the guard's eyes as I like do the turnaround. He grabs my neck, but in return I grab his neck. I just see the fear in his eyes, and that fear just resonates in me because, like, you remember I was a diplomat. I really killed that many people, and just seeing the look of just murder in his and fear in his eyes, just looking at him directly, just like it just kept with me.
yeah, so it was like a turnabout. Like he's expecting to see, I'm a guardsman. This guy's a diplomat. I'm gonna totally just grab him up in a bear trap, and I'm going to put him back in his place. And then when he sees the power in your eyes, this change that's occurred in you, yeah, there's that swelling pit of fear that's just rolling around in your guts, and now you're feeling that because you're on the other end of it. This creature, it's not a man. It's not a man. For all intents and purposes, it looks like a man, but you know so much more, and so you're panicking a little bit. Maybe you back yourself a little bit further into the shadows, and I don't know. Maybe you're finding it hard to breathe, something like that. Something that's threatening to give you away. But Ashley is next to you. Ashley is a pillar of strength. She sees this and knows exactly what to do. So what do you do to help out Jutmerlum? What do you do that's going to help keep you guys safe?
So I'm assuming that he is being affected by the ghost eye.
That'd be a fair assumption, yeah.
Okay. So the assassin is looking directly at Jutmerlum and affecting him mentally. Are we nearby?
It almost seems like he's looking directly at. Well, in fact, in your perception, it looks like he's just looking in your general direction from your angle.
So I'm guessing like I go like this in front of him, and then he's like all glassy eyed, and then I try to shake him awake.
Okay.
Okay. I guess I slap him.
So you kind of like shaking him into senses to regain his senses. All right, good. So, Brynjar, so what was your result? I see 2 3s here. Do I need to say mark XP, or what did you have?
No, I got 7 because I had +1 because of dexterity.
All right.
Oh, my constitution.
Okay. So you get the thing that you want. You kind of choke down the fear and the concern, and you're like, you know what? I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay. You look over, you see Brynjar, or you see Jutmerlum kind of freaking out here, but then you see Ashley working her magic, or whatever it is that she has to help calm him down, including a slap, but including and not limited to a slap. And so you see that, and you look back, and and then you look back, and there's a child at the mouth of the alley. And she's looking at you, a young child, let's say maybe 8 or 9 years old, a human child. And she's looking at you, and she's got a little toy, like a wood toy that she has in her hands, and she's pulling on one of her braids, and she's looking at you like concerned, and she's about to say something, and she's taking in a deep breath. What do you guys do?
Well, am I the only one seeing this?
You are the only one seeing this, yeah. So Ashley's comforting Jutmerlum right now, so they're busy.
Okay. So far, how far from me and how far from the ghost eye is the child?
The ghost guy is probably, let's say, 60 feet or more away.
Okay. And the kid?
The kid's probably about 10 feet away. You're a little bit deeper into the alley just so you can take advantage of the shadows, and she's at the mouth of it, about 10 feet away. So within reach. I mean, you could get to her pretty quick.
Okay. Instinctively, I'll run up towards the child and cover her mouth.
Okay. Let's call it, obviously you're not trying to do damage, but let's call it a hack and slash, just because you're trying to get in range and make contact, that sort of thing. Unless there's an element in your character that you may want to try and use that might be of help within your starting moves. I don't think so. Unless you're trying to bend bars, lift gates.
I'm not trying to kill her.
You're going to lift the child up and use her to bend bars and lift gates. What an implement!
This is my new weapon.
Yeah, this is my new weapon. Can I consider this a blunt weapon? Okay, no, it's terrible. Stop it. Roll your dice, sir. Hack and slash, please. Plus your strength modifier.
Six.
Plus your strength modifier?
Plus my strength modifier?
Yeah, because you're using your strength to try and get her in hand.
Yeah, I think I try to grab her and hold her into me, towards me.
So what's the final result? What's your strength modifier?
That is a 8.
So that's a total is an 8. Okay, very good. All right, so you get the thing that you want, and remember that range between 7 and 9. And you guys are probably feeling this as we're moving forward. That range between 7 and 9 is going to have a little bit of an unintended consequence. So as you grab her and you bring her in close, you're successful. You get the thing you want. You get back into the shadows. But I want you to roll a d4 for me. And then, Jutmerlum, while we're talking about this, did you end up marking XP for that last roll?
Yes, I did.
Okay, good. All right, so you take 2 points of damage as the child bites down hard on your finger.
Okay.
But I would assume that with your steely dwarven will, you managed to hold on to her. So what do you do at this point? I mean, Ashley, you just finished comforting Jutmerlum. Jutmerlum, you're calming down, and you look over, and amidst what you guys were doing, you look back and you see Brynjar holding a child right now, and blood is trickling down from a point on his hand where the child is biting down. So what are you all doing?
I'll say shite.
Okay. At this point, is my voice back?
Has it been 3 minutes?
I'm
Yeah.
going to say this. Your voice is coming back, but it has a touch of the Emperor in it.
Okay. I'm gonna try and I'm trying to. I got a sexy husky voice now.
or sadistically scary. You can pick.
Okay. I'm gonna get to the girl, and then I'm gonna try and use my charisma to calm her down. Maybe like I kind of pluck one of my hair and like kind of like I guess sacrifice it to create like a flaming butterfly, and then like, hey, look at this, hey, we're all right, no need to panic.
Very nice. I like that a lot. You know what? So I'm assuming you're using the give me fuel, give me fire.
No.
Or no? Would that not quite? Let's see.
No. Does a butterfly count as a weapon?
You know what? I'm gonna say let's kind of bend it a little bit. Let's use that give me fuel, give me fire. I think that's actually not too bad. Because when you gaze intently into someone's eyes, you may ask their player what fuels the flames of your desire. So yeah, I think that might work. Let's do this. Let's have you roll a parlay, which is going to be your roll 2d6 plus your charisma. Add 1 for this effect. So whatever your charisma modifier is, add 1 to that.
So my charisma is +1.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. 7, I think. 7, 8, and plus the other one. I think total is 9.
Nice. Okay. So yeah. So you managed to do this, and let's see. I want to make a GM's note here real quick so that I can come back to it later. So,
no! Don't tell me the girl's going to be crucial.
Why would I do something like that? That sounds like GM dirty tricks. That's what that sounds like.
Definitely sounds like GM
I told him to throw the axe.
See, we should have just used her as a weapon.
Yeah. Should snap the neck or something.
No, negative. All right. Good job. All right. So what does this butterfly effect look like? What do you do for this girl? Because she's obviously delighted with what happens as you do that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'm holding the strand of hair, and then I kind of crumple it into my hand, and then I kind of like, and then I open it, and then see like the hair turns into like embers. The embers turn into like some like a bunch of butterflies, kind of like, and then like she holds out her hand, and then like it kind of lands on her finger.
Nice.
And then after that, it kind of dissipates, and then I'll try to tell her like, we're not here to harm you, don't worry.
Okay. So she's looking at this, and and Brynjar, you've got a front row seat to this as well. And Jutmerlum, I'm assuming you see it as well. You've kind of regained your composure.
Yeah.
And you see Ashley kind of like crouch down, and she does this effect where this flaming butterfly emerges from her hand. Just a little one that kind of floats up. It's the sacrifice of her hair creates this. And I'm just getting you caught up, Brynjar, real quick. And so this thing happens right in front of the child's eyes, and she reaches out for it instinctively, and you say that it lands on her finger. It doesn't even harm her. She's just so amazed by it. And she basically reaches up and kind of like pushes away your hand, Brynjar. And I think because you see this little flaming fiery butterfly, you kind of like let it happen. And you see the little tooth marks in your finger, let's say your left forefinger, you see the tooth marks, and you're like, what the heck? And the child just kind of, she wipes away her mouth or whatever of the dwarfish blood that's on there, and she looks at the butterfly on her other hand, and she's like,
Oh, it's so amazing. I can't believe you've done this. Oh, what is your name? What is your name, milady?
I am known as the Flaming Maiden.
Oh, were you with the menagerie that was here last month?
Well, yes. And if you're a good girl, you might visit again.
Oh, I cannot wait. My papa will be so excited that the menagerie will coming back because he loved taking me to it. Thank you so much. Oh, do another for me, please, please.
Oh, I look over at Brynjar and Jutmerlum and like, uh, hmm.
So what do you guys say? What are you doing in reaction?
I'm personally here just like giving her like the watch signal, like we're running out of time. He's watching us.
He's still watching us, or is it?
Well,
He's looking in the general direction because you gotta admit, a flaming butterfly popping up might bring some attention to more than just the girl.
Right.
okay. So I look back at the girl and then like, oh, I would absolutely love to do more tricks for you, but I can't possibly show all my tricks now, can I? That will ruin the show, would it?
She looks a little dejected, and she kind of does the whole child kicking a stone thing and looking down at the ground. She's all,
I suppose. But next time that you go in, can you call me out by name? My name is Paulette.
Paulette.
Paulette. All right, we're gonna write this down.
Of course I will.
Oh, I cannot
Then I
wait
give
to
her,
tell my papa.
and then I kind of like ruffle her hair a bit and like run along.
so she's like delighted with this interaction. She goes skipping off into the crowd, and as your eyes kind of follow her out, the juxtaposition of what was discerning your reality just prior to this returns to your minds, and you were actually out looking for this individual, for this ghost eye, and you look out into the crowd. The camera kind of pans up from the child skipping through, her long blonde hair tied up in pigtails as she's skipping through the crowd, and it goes past the shoulders of waves of people, and you see more and more people have kind of emerged into the morning. And just through the sea of people going left to right, you see the face of that ghost eye, and directly at any one of you. In fact, it doesn't seem like he's seen you, but he is drawn to this location.
Okay.
So you look out behind you, and you do see that the alley opens to the other end as well.
Okay.
So what do you guys do?
Go the other way.
I say we go the opposite direction of where this guy is looking, and we just again take as much chance as we can, care to make it to the end.
Okay. All right. So you guys make good your escape, and this is where I'm going to bring back in that exceptional spout lore roll that got you across the city, and you return to the inn. On the sign, you see a what looks like kind of like a cartoon style picture of a woman in a chef's hat,
Mm-hmm.
with a distinctive darkened shading underneath of a beard. And you have returned to the inn called the Bearded Wench.
Okay.
Now, tell me a little bit about this inn, because your employer, I would assume, has a good deal of money. So, I mean, is this kind of an average inn? Is he slumming it, or is
this is a slumming. This is definitely a slumming inn. Definitely a slumming inn. But he is the proprietor of the inn as well. Ooh. So he is significantly wealthy, but he has specific like levels of inneries of inns just to like make sure that he is safe whenever he contracts somebody. So it depends on the situation and stuff. So if it's like a lowly thing, he goes to set in. If it's like a more efficient and more proper thing, he sends them to the more efficient and well-known inns and stuff like that.
Nice. I like that. And what elements? And this is kind of where I want to lean towards what you as characters see in the world. So, what element kind of stands out to you, Ashley, as far as this particular inn? Let's say it's 3 stories tall. What stands out to you about this place? And you can make up whatever you'd like.
I guess what stands out about it is that there is a sort of a sparring ring in the middle. When you enter the inn, there's actually like a fighting ring in the middle. And then you can see people like place bets, and then like kind of like underground fighting kind of thing. You see like, and I guess when we enter, we just see like an orc being knocked out by a pretty strong looking dwarf. You just see him like collect a boom, and then like big applause. Oh, and then you can hear like more dwarves.
All right, I like that. So the dwarf looks over at the door that's opening. Amidst the few people who have gathered here because of it is early morning, but hey, this particular inn seems to be functional all hours. And the dwarf looks over and sees you all approaching. His name is Garamond, Garimond, and he's known pretty famously for his iron fists, his ability to almost one-shot a person into unconsciousness, which is definitely a testimony of the orc that's laying at his feet right now. So Brynjar, what stands out to you about this inn?
I think it's the wide variety of different booze and wine and whiskey and beer that stands behind the counter, indicating a large network of trade and communication far away from wherever Brynjar has been before his life, and truly making him realize that the world is bigger than just the clan. It's bigger than this continent. It's bigger than just where I've been, and it makes him feel a little bit small.
Well, smaller dwarf.
Smaller. The dwarf, he can't do anything but his height.
He's perfectly statured for a person of his race.
But the thoughts remind him that this world is bigger than just where he's been, making me feel a little bit small.
That's gosh, you guys are just people again playing the home game. This is why I love Dungeon, because you have the players just creating things around you. I love this stuff. Okay, so you guys are kind of working through those feelings. I would assume that maybe you guys have been here for a couple of days in the midst of making contact with your employer, Jutmerlum. So the dwarf, nods in your direction as you guys enter into the tavern, or to the inn, I should say, the Bearded Winch Inn. And he basically nods your way and then points towards the stairs that are at the back of the inn that lead upwards. Well, obviously they lead upwards, but more specifically they lead towards your employer's study, where he holds court, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you guys take some time as you re-enter the place, or are you guys eager to get up there and finish business?
What can we do?
Brynjar's gonna get drunk.
You know what? Honestly, I'm gonna go on ahead since he is my employer. Technically, he's my contact. I'm gonna go ahead and if Ashley and Brynjar wants to stay behind, they can stay behind. But I'm just gonna make sure everything is ironed out between the employer and I.
Okay. Right. Is this?
I shall follow Jutmerlum as well.
So you're gonna go along with Jutmerlum? Is that right, Ashley?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then Brynjar, what are you gonna be doing?
I was going to go to the counter and order one tankard, is it?
A tanker of meat. Tankard
Tankard of meat, yeah.
Nice.
And quickly down it as a true dwarf and keep following the others. And pay, of course, however much it costs.
Let's see here. Jutmerlum, I want to make sure that you mark off the coin that you gave to the fishmonger.
Yes, I already did that.
All right.
I gave half my coin and started at 10, and I'm at 5.
All right. Okay. In fact, actually, you know what? Only mark off one coin for
One
that,
coin.
because
All
you
right.
had a very successful roll there. Now it represents, and again with Dungeon World, with whether a cost is associated or whether you have a collection of arrows, anything that has a supply that could run out based on certain rules that you utilize with that particular supply set. So again, whether it's arrows or it's throwing knives or it's coin, the more successful you are, the less that you run out of as a resource. And you were exceptionally resourceful with that roll. So I would say that you made the most out of the coin that you gave them.
Okay.
Have you mark down 1. Okay.
All right.
Brynjar, because of the contribution that you made to this, and Ashley, I'm going to give you a benefit as well here in a moment. I would say that whatever drink that you want here at the tavern is on the house. So you have you made an impression on Jutmerlum's employer in some way, shape, or form. What do you think it was that impressed that made an impression on
Maybe the dedication that is contributed this. Oh, brain freeze.
It's okay.
Yeah. His associates, his associate looked in his eyes and saw perhaps what Brynjar had gone through to have his dead eyes, and realized this man is resourceful, at least tough. He can be used. If that works.
That totally works. I mean, the type of person that this employer is would be someone who really wants to focus on any kind of talent that could be seen out there. So yeah, so that makes sense. That'd be kind of why you probably have a bottomless tankard, as it were. You get to take advantage of that. How are we? I'll break for just one moment and just ask Jutmerlum, how are we doing on time? Are you doing okay?
I am doing decent on time. I am right now at 10. It's 10:10 for me right now. They're saying they're going to come at 10:30,
Okay.
so I can go on for a little more. Yeah.
So you guys make your way up to the second floor, and there is an office or a study at the far end, and it doesn't have doors per se. It has just this large archway, and that would represent maybe 2 doors worth of entry, just to kind of give you an idea of how big it is. And out front, there's a round table with 3 chairs, and those chairs are filled with 3 different guards. There's an orc, there's a human, and there's actually a halfling. And as you all approach, the halfling looks up, and you know this particular halfling by the name of Linka Fourfingers. And he waves a hand at Jutmerlum, because he definitely recognizes you. And then he looks at the other 2, and he's like, okay, I remember you guys being here. It's all right. Linka looks over at the other 2 people at the table and just kind of motions that they're okay. And you notice that he's missing on his left finger. He's missing his forefinger.
Okay.
So again, kind of the reason why they call him Fourfingers. So he nods to those 2, and they kind of like reposition themselves as just playing cards, as it were. And the halfling motions you through. So anything that you want to ask the halfling, or do you guys want to just head on into the study?
I would personally like to ask Linka. So, do we know the employer's name, by the way?
Certainly. Would you like to name your employer?
Do I want to name the employer? Darn, on the spot things. What do I want to name the
I
employer?
have a name ready.
You have a name ready? Go ahead with your name. I'm down with your name. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think I'm okay with your name, if anything, Mr. GM.
Thought we switched to game universes. Okay, let's see here. So, can you guys hear me okay? You're good?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, we'll call him Haladrel. And it's Halod Haladrel. R-E-L.
R-E-L. Okay, Haladrel. All right. So
And- Go ahead.
So I just, as good faith to Linka, I asked, is the employer in one of his moods today, or is it safe to just be natural around him?
He had just about ready to pick up his cards, and you see that he has a hand that would probably beat the other two on any good day. And he looks about eager to play again, but then he looks back over at you and he's like,
Well, what am I supposed to be looking for anyway? But, yeah, he's okay. He woke up, he had himself a full breakfast, so I think he's fine. But, he's got a bit of a pain up here, if you know what I mean.
he's pointing at his right eye.
The right eye, okay.
And so yeah, it kind of gives you the green light that it should be
okay. And then I don't want to be that guy. You know what? And how long have I'm going to say I've known Linka for a while, since I've been in the service, so I know I can do this to Linka. And I go to the another two and say, he's been playing you. And don't you see his sleeve?
Oh man. I love it. That's awesome. Okay, go ahead and give me. I wonder what would be so cool to use here.
I think. Do we want to do a quick thinking? Like a defied change of quick thinking?
Yeah, I think so. That would work. Yeah. So yeah, defy danger with a +2, with the plus your intelligence. Be call.
All right.
Can we always tell just by nodding?
So there's.
Agreeing?
So I only see one dice. Did you get one on another one? I'm missing this first one. Okay. So a 7 total?
Yeah, there's a 5 and a 2.
Nice, okay. So yeah, you say this, and he the halfling looks up at you, and the orc and they look over at him, and they look at you, they look over at him, they look over at you, and they look at him, and the halfling just like throws down the cards, and he's like, "I can't believe you've done this, get that!" And he just starts like cursing up a storm. And you have a feeling as you enter into the sanctum of Haladrel that there's going to be something that's going to come back on you for this. But you know you've known the halfling long enough that it probably won't be a knife in the back. I'm sure it wouldn't.
No. It's all. We've been doing this for a while now. He does it to me, I do it to him, type of thing.
Perfect. I love it. That's super awesome. All right. So you guys enter into the room, and it's a study that has, there's some books along the wall, that sort of thing. And I don't know, in a town like Southold, again, 5,000, 6,000 souls that are in this place, is having a library you just broke out of one. Mm-hmm. Now, is that the only library in town? Are books kind of a treasured thing, or are they not?
Yes.
This is taken into account. Yeah. So why would it be treasured?
I'd say it's a treasure thing because with the rule of the queen, information is at a minimum at the moment. Mm-hmm. So it's very controlled, very exclusive. So if Haladrel has a study filled with books, that's a significant showing of his title and his wealth. They have the availability to just have books lying around.
Books is kind of like a luxury kind of thing.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, there we go. That was me.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. I was digitizing a little bit too much there. All right. So the books are kind of an exclusive thing for all of you. It makes it a very unique thing. Okay. So you go into the employer's place, into the study. There's books that are lining the wall. There's a fireplace that's burning in the room, and you come around where there's this large chair, and you come around to the edge, and this the man is kind of like, he's an older gentleman. He's got a wrinkly face. He has an eye patch that goes across his right eye, and he's drumming his bony fingers across the arm of the chair as he sees you all enter. And I would assume who has the box now? Is it Brynjar or is it?
Yeah.
Brynjar. Brynjar still has the box, yeah.
So what do you guys do? How do you want to present this? He looks up at you expectantly with his left eye. It's a deep blue eye.
I let Jutmerlum do the talking because he knows his employee best. But I'll step forward and hold out the box, but not give it to him.
All right.
Okay, so I take lead?
Yeah.
Alright, so I go to Haladril and say, do you expect any less from us? Did you expect this to be a challenge? And I gesture to the box.
He nods, and he points towards a low coffee table that's right next, or kind of near the fireplace. It's a place that's between a few chairs that are there. And in fact, there's 3 other chairs that are in the room, and he points to the table, and then he points to the rest of you to take a seat.
Okay. So I follow in suit. It's better to just follow the instruction of the employer. Always.
What do you guys do? Do you set the box down on the table, Brynjar?
No.
Oh,
I'll sit down in the chair but still hold the box.
Oh, very good.
I'd like to get information first before we let go of it.
Oh, sounds like you might be entering into a parlay. I like that. Okay. Ashley, how do you react? Are you going to take a seat, or is there something that you want to do as well?
I gracefully walk to the seat, and I just have a seat. I sit down all ladylike and adjust my dress and listen to what's gonna happen next.
Okay. All right. So the old man, he's been drumming his fingers along the arm of the chair as you guys are kind of filing in and doing the respective actions that you've taken. Sits down at the chair in his chair and doesn't relinquish the box. The drumming on the arm of the chair stops, and his single eye stares at you for a long period of time, Brynjar. So I want you to go ahead and roll your parlay. And parlay is going to be plus your charisma. And for the home team, basically when you roll a parlay is when you have leverage on a GM character, in this case Haladril, and you wish to manipulate them, whether that's for information or for some favor. We'll see how it goes.
Which is really good because I have -1 in charisma. But I get 9.
Ooh, nice. All right. So he sits back and he looks at you. So what do you say to him? Why? He looks at you expectantly. He raises an eyebrow. It's this kind of like thin web of eyebrow hair or eyebrows that just kind of like arches up, almost like a wicked-looking Gothic cathedral. And he looks at you expectantly, like, what are you doing?
And I lean forward, holding my hand over the box, and I say to him, "You know why we are here. We did your job. Now you can tell us and give us what we need, and you'll get the box. All right?"
His eyes glance over towards Jutmerlum. Is there anything that you want to say?
I'm honestly I'm more of an expectant tone. Like I'm following Brynjard's lead, but just I'm giving the employer a look that's saying I am independent of this. I am not a part of what is going on right now. As in, like, this is all Brynjar. This is nothing I had to do with this.
Excellent. Okay. And then
Thanks for
Ashley,
that.
what's your reaction to this?
For Ashley, I think I kind of side with Brynjar because I don't expect that this is a freebie or something. Like he has to have like he has to have some information that we need. So in the meantime, I'm just remaining quiet, but studying the room.
Okay. You want to discern realities, Ashley? Sounds like that might be what you might
Yes.
be doing. And then Jutmerlum, I'll open that up to you if that's something you'd like to do as well.
Okay.
See if you notice anything. So while you all are doing that, we'll go back to Brynjar. So Brynjar, the arched eyebrow kind of, it turns from being inquisitive to being more of a study of you as a person. And for the first time since you guys entered the room, Haladrel speaks, and it's again, he's probably in his 80s. His one good eye is a strong blue color that kind of lends towards a lot of intelligence, a lot of craftiness, and that's one thing that you've known about Haladrel for a long time, Jutmerlum, because of the past dealings you've had with him.
Mhm.
His eyebrow comes back down, and he taps a finger to his lips, and then rests his hands back onto the arm of the chair, and they begin to drum again. I hired you for no less than your initiative. So, Jutmerlum has referenced you as being quite capable, and I am not disappointed. It is this kind of gumption that you will need going forward, going into your future. For this type of desire to know more, you will need to back that up with iron and fire. And he looks from each one of you, and when he says fire, he looks right at you, Ashley. So you wish to know more, is that it?
I simply nod.
Very
I
good.
nod as well.
And so all right, so let's take a look at what y'all have. Ashley, what's your result? I see 2 3s, but what's your bonus to that for discern realities?
It's wisdom, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Alright, wisdom is a +1, so it's 7.
All right, excellent. So you're looking around, and you see, and Jutmerlum, what's your result?
I have a 9.
9, okay. So you're looking around, Ashley, and Jutmerlum, you see this as well. The eye patch that he's wearing, there's along the corner of his eye, where the patch stops covering, you see a kind of a white, almost milky liquid that's seeping down like a tear, and it's just at the edge of it, just at the edge of his face. And and as you look a little bit closer, Jutmerlum, you notice that there's a tinge of red to it, like potentially blood.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And Jutmerlum, you notice that as he's drumming his fingers, there's a key that is underneath his left hand that he's kept on the arm of the chair.
Okay.
And that's meaningful to you because of this box. The box is locked, and he didn't tell you. He did tell you that there was no key within the library, and that they had been searching for the key for a while.
Okay.
So, you guys want to do anything with that knowledge, or
I'm going to play passively. I'm going to see how things unfold until it's the right time.
All right. So,
Yeah,
Brynjar, same thing for you, Ashley. Okay. All right, good. All right, so Brynjar, he looks at you and he says, "So the information that you wish to hold is also the same information that I wish to have inside that box. So let me provide you with something. And he looks down to his the arm of the chair, and he moves aside his hand, and you see a key that's there. And he points to you, Jutmerlum, and he says, "Did you acquire the object that I assigned for you, the one that I desired?" And that kind of goes back to that bargain that he was going to give you the thing that you wanted, but you had to acquire something from the library.
Is not a reference to the box then, right?
No, it's something separate. That was kind of his payment, was that you acquire this separate object. And maybe I'll plant a seed, because I did kind of take you off guard there. It's a figurine of an animal, and you can tell me what animal it is, and it's maybe about this big.
Okay. I'm going to choose the animal is a leopard, and I'm going to say yes. And I pull out the leopard figurine, and I place it on the table in front of him.
Excellent. Now, when you received when you acquired this leopard figurine, it was in a seated position, kind of looking very regal.
Yes.
Now, when you take it out of your hip pouch or whatever secured satchel that you have to hand over, you know it's the same one because it's the only one that was wrapped inside this oiled cloth. But the leopard is actually in a crouched position now, like it's about to leap.
Okay. So I'm going to convey this and say, well, when I acquired this leopard, it was sitting, but I don't know what happened between then and now. Now it's crouched. What are you hiding, old man? You know we've been in good business before.
So he smiles briefly, and he holds out a gnarled hand to see if you'll actually hand over the figurine first, or if you want to talk to him first.
I'm going to go with the blind trust. I'm going to give it to him.
Mm-hmm. So you hand that over, and he places the figurine onto the arm of the chair, and deftly with the same hand removes the key and hands it over. And he actually hands it towards Brynjar. This is for you. And as for this, he strokes the wooden figurine a little bit. This particular implement, how shall I say? It's something that will help me with my business. Something that will help me to lend a bit of fortune to my efforts. And a bit of fortune, and for a moment he actually looks a little less confident and more concerned. And if you want to read more into that, you can definitely do that. If you want to, roll for something to kind of, you all can do that.
I am going to do that, and I'm going to ask the question of what here is not what appears to be, because one of the options is discern realities thing.
There we go, cool.
So
that would bring that in.
That is 8-12 for me.
You get 3 questions, my friend, and you get a +1 going forward. So
yes. All right. So.
And you also get a +1 as well, Ashley, for your next roll, to act on the information that you saw with the eye, that seeping liquid that's in the eye. So, or I'm sorry, this eye. And then Brynjar, you received the key, so you have that now.
Yeah, I'll be focused on it and turning around the box and opening it.
Oh, all right, going right
so
for it.
I open it towards myself so nobody else can see.
Okay.
Not being secret, but just knowing. Yeah, you know what I mean.
All right, so Jutmerlum, you're going to ask your 3 questions. What here is not what it appears to be. All right. And what should I be on the lookout for? And who's really in control here? I love it. That's completely awesome. And because of that exceptional role, I'm going to give you everything that you want. So, for you, Jutmerlum, Let me make sure. I'm going to take a note here of the questions asked, just so that I make sure I have that for next session. Oop, did I spill the beans? I spilled the beans, didn't I? Okay, so first question, what here is not what it appears to be? You get the sneaking suspicion, Jutmerlum, that this particular person is not, or at least hasn't always been, a facilitator of underground business, as it were. He hasn't always been a fixer. The next thing is, what should I be on the lookout for? You should be on the lookout for what's in that box. And you should also be on the lookout for what's behind the eye patch. And then finally, who's really in control here? And you get a feeling that something outside of this room, distant, but somehow close, somehow you get the sneaking suspicion that something is trying to watch you, but can't right now. They're being restrained. So, you got all those?
I'm going to go on mute for 1 second. Do you hear the jackhammers outside?
No, I don't. I don't hear anything.
Perfect. All right, just wanted to make sure. I was just being safe.
No, you're good. You're good. So you got all those answers? Those are clear?
I have them written down, and I am fairly concerned of what's beyond our door right now at the moment. Like, as in who's waiting outside for us.
All right. So, Brynjar, you open the box, right, and you're looking inside, and there is a mask, a wooden mask that's inside. And it's painted with an ancient language, and I'm not sure what your exposure is to ancient languages and that sort of thing.
Except Dwarven, not really.
Okay. There is a thrum that comes from this box as soon as you open it, and you notice on the inside of this box there are layer upon layer of etchings that are inside it. And as Ashley, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, are the essays of the same language, or are they words at all?
They are of a different language. But there is one string of runes that's on the inside of the lid that is in Dwarvish. So we'll have you take a look at that in just a moment. Ashley,
okay.
When you look over, what are you looking at right now? I should say that. Let me ask that first.
I'm kind of curious. I'm kind of curious about what's going on with his eye. So I kind of adjust myself, and then I look towards the employer, and I ask Master Heladrel, pardon my forwardness, but your eye, you're leaking a little bit. Is there anything we should be concerned about?
He looks almost kind of surprised a little bit. Well, not so much surprised, but like, oh. And he grabs his right hand darts deftly into his tunic and his vest, and he pulls out a napkin, a handkerchief, and he dabs at the eye. And as he does so, the eye patch lifts a little bit, and you all see a reddish, a mixture of red and green glow coming from underneath the eye patch. And in the back of all of your minds, you hear a ghostly woman's voice saying, Show me, Keeper." But then as the patch goes back down, he swallows hard, and he actually looks like he just aged about 5 years.
I kind of look at my companion like, what the hell? Not normal, is it? I mean, I don't say it, but I kind of like show it in my expression.
Yeah, we're all
Yeah,
going
real quick,
to
Brynjar, when you're looking in the writing here, you see the dwarfish writing, and the dwarfish writing says, "Into the hands of this mask, my keepers will hold my truth." So if you want to write that down, into. Let me rephrase that. I think I phrased that incorrectly, but look at my notes here real super quick. This mask goes into the hands of my keepers, who will hold my truth.
Yeah.
Right.
Does that phrase mean anything to me?
Well, there is. Let's have you roll a spout lore. Okay. And what are you doing, Jutmerlum, when you hear this woman's voice kind of echoing and whispering through your head?
I'm going to start walking around the room, doing again another discern reality,
Okay.
just to make sure, notice if anything's wrong with the room or anything that is perceived as bad. But I'm having like significant flashbacks of when I was escaping.
Okay. All right.
So that I have an 8.
Okay. All right. So let me go over to Brynjar. You are doing your spout lore, and what does that result in?
I failed.
Okay. So mark XP. You start trying to like think of like what you might have heard. I mean, you know, whether it's known or unknown to the rest of the group here, you were an executioner, so your goal was at the edge of an axe. That was your life. And so it's been kind of hard for you to hear about what's happened, that sort of thing, but there was something in your past that you remember that when you put somebody to death, that they screamed out right before the end of their life. They screamed out, "She always watches! She always watches!" And then you dropped the axe and chopped off his head. Right. Now over to Jutmerlum. So what was your result? It was a 9?
It was an 8.
Okay, so a success. All right. So you're looking around the room and you're trying to find out. I'm assuming you're trying to find out what. Well, ask your question. What would you like to ask?
I would like to ask. What were my 3 questions that I asked in the chat before? It was what should I look who's really okay. What is about to happen, basically?
The old man is about to die.
Ooh, gruesome. Okay. The old man's about to die. So, and I automatically know this information, correct?
You get a deep feeling. You're thinking about you're thinking about the eye. Ashley mentioning the eye, the liquid coming out, and you remembering that there's blood that was in the eye, and then that voice in your head. You feel that voice was directed towards him. And you get the distinct impression he's about to die.
So going back on on the instincts that I've been basically going on with the years of the bodyguard, I take a stance next to what's his name again? Haladral, and as a defensive guard position. So I am at this point I am defending.
All right.
I'm in defense. So I'm going to roll that, right?
Yep. You can do that. So with defend, you can stand in defense of a person, an item, or a location.
Mm-hmm. I am at a 7.
Okay.
I'm sorry, 8, 9.
Okay, perfect.
I can't count today.
No worries. Ashley, I want you to give me a spout lore roll, if you could.
Okay. All right. Would that be wisdom or intelligence?
It's going to be wisdom. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It is wisdom. It is wisdom.
No, okay. 4, 5, 6, 7.
All right.
Seven.
Just got it. Okay. You have
in your past been a part of a menagerie, right? You were the star attraction, the flaming maiden. There was another person that was there who it was a young man who had joined up along the road, and he had this unerring ability to sense things in other people, whether it was reading people's physical cues, that sort of thing. And he taught you a little bit about some of those tricks. And I think that's what's kind of helped you be a better performer, in fact, because you're able to read the crowd and you're able to kind of sense what they may want next. I mean, that was obvious in the alley when you were handling the child. But something that sticks out in your mind, and this is where the spout lore is coming in, I want you to take a look at the questions that are there. If you have your basic moves sheet available, take a look at the questions there. And again, the situation you have this voice that was kind of in your head, show me, keeper, show me now, a woman's voice. And you know that it wasn't something that was outside of the room. You feel like it was in the back of your head. So is there a question that you maybe want to ask from that list? But if you want to think of something else, you can go ahead and do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask what's his name again? Hello Joe. I'm gonna ask Hello Joe. Keeper. Who is this keeper?
And his eyes narrow, and you see perspiration on his brow. Remember to take a +1 going forward to your whatever role you want to use that's acting on this information that you're getting now. And then your Jutmerlum, I want to make sure that on your defense action, did you add a +1 from your discern realities before?
Then it's a 10. It is a 10 then.
Okay.
I got an 8. No, I got a 7. +2 was 9, and then the 3 was a 10. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. So Haladrel is you see this bead of sweat coming out on his brow, and Brynjar, what are you doing? Are you looking into the mask, or are you looking up at the situation?
No, I'm now starting to realize something is going on in the room, so I close the box and look at what's going on.
Okay.
And
so you're seeing the old man. You're seeing Haladrel his muscles are starting to tighten, and his jaw clenches down. And re-ask your question, Ashley. I want to make sure I have the response correct.
Ask him. Who is this keeper?
He
The name keeper.
He grinds his teeth and closes his one good eye, and you see him wincing like he's holding. It's almost kind of like as if somebody were trying to hold open the door in by somebody. And Jutmerlum, you've seen this before when maybe even as you're kind of flashing back to the night of your escape, you remember that all of the rage and the passion for wanting to get out of here you used to close the door that was being pushed in by 5 guards. But you found the energy in you to just slam that door shut. But as you're all are looking at him, you can see that he's failing.
Okay.
And he leans back and he says, I was a keeper. No more. And now blood is starting to flow freely from under the patch.
I'm going to interject. I'm going to do an aid.
Okay.
So we're going to do this. And I think we're going to have a really good bond, since I know, because it says roll plus bond with them.
Okay.
So
I'd give you a +1 on that, just because of the services that you've rendered.
All right.
I feel woefully woeful as a GM that I haven't brought in the bonds a little bit more, but we'll correct that in the future.
So I got a 6. So sadly, I fail.
Okay. So so what is it that you're attempting to do? What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to give him like a motivation to keep on fighting. Like.
Okay. What do you say? Go ahead and say.
Okay. I'm gonna say, I've seen that face before. I know what you're going through. Whatever it is you're keeping out, please fight it.
And he's like just grinding his teeth, and his head is back up against the chair, and he looks over at you, and he opens his one good eye, and he says,
I gave myself to the cause. I tried to take myself away. I cannot escape it.
and there's more blood coming, and there's definitely a glow coming from under the patch. And he raises a hand, this gnarled finger, and he points towards the box.
In it, you will find more than your honor. You will find an end to all this.
And blood just bursts from the eye. And he seizes in just this rictus pain that just freezes his body in ultimate tension. And the eye patch bursts outward. Blood comes out, and you all are hit with viscera. But there's also this wet squelch that comes out and lands on the table between you all. And you see that the eye that is there is glowing, this sickly green. And it looks up. The eye is moving still on the table. And it's starting to try and look around. It's looking at the fireplace. Now it's starting to turn. And you hear that voice again, this female voice.
Show me, keeper.
And it's starting to turn in your directions.
Did I bring my tankard up?
Sure. Yeah, you had a refill, a top off before you came up here.
Okay. I get some idea that, okay, I don't want this eye to look at me. Let's trap it. And I'll take the tankard and put it on top of it.
Nice. All right.
The empty bottom, of course, not...
Give me a hack and slash on that.
Plus strength?
Yes.
Let's use your dex, just because you're trying to be artful with this. Are you attempting to smash it, or are you trying to just trap it?
No, trying to trap it.
Okay. All right.
Okay, and I get plus
What
one.
are you others doing now?
Since
I'm wiping the viscera off my face. Oh, sorry.
Since I did get a 6, I do mark for XP, right?
Correct. Yes.
All right, just want to make sure of that. All right,
And
but
what were you rolling there, Jutmerlum?
I was rolling the 8.
Oh, okay.
Remember that failed.
Oh, that's right. Yes, that's right. That's what you rolled. All right. So Brynjar, what's your total?
7.
A 7. Okay. So you managed to get the tankard onto you're flipping the tankard over, and ale or mead is just spraying all over the place, mixing with the blood in the room, and you're about to like slam it home onto this eye, but at the last second it looks up at you. You feel this sickly feeling in the back of your throat, and I want you to roll a defy danger for me. As you slam this mug down onto the eye and you close it, the green glow stops because you can see it peering through the cracks in the wood along the rim of the mug, but you've managed to trap it right now.
Yeah.
So go ahead and roll me a defy danger using Constitution.
Okay, what's my constitution again? Remembering all the stats, it's not easy. Plus 1.
Plus 1, all right.
10.
All right. You felt like there was something that was just reaching out from the eye and grabbing into your throat and into your chest, but you shrug it off and you manage to close this mug down. So now you have it trapped into there, and you can feel the soppy, gooey sponginess of the eye bouncing against the rim of the mug. You can hear it squelching underneath the wood. So what do you all do?
What kind of sorcery is all this? What's going on? He was alive 1 second and he's dead.
I'm wiping the viscera off my face and off my mouth, and I'm like, guys, I think it's in my mouth. Oh.
I turn to Ashley and say, "Get yourself together and make sure that box is closed."
And like I nod at him and close to the box, and like I look at Jutmerlum and like he's not dead, is he?
I checked for a pulse.
He is quite dead.
Uh-oh.
He is dead.
I don't think this would well for us if any of his men come in here and see him, not very lively as he used to be.
Or should we just surround them?
Hmm. Any better ideas?
So what do you guys think?
No, I say we
You're hearing the scraping of wood as the chairs are getting kicked back on the outside of the study.
Uh-oh.
Well,
yeah, this is predicament.
Mhm.
Do you want to
Ashley.
discern realities, or are you still kind of thinking of what you want to do?
You know, let me do a discern realities. I'm not that confident at the moment. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna hopefully for the
Go out the
best.
window again.
Shush. It is an 8. So I am going to ask.
Ask me a question.
I'm going to ask again. What's about to happen?
Gosh, how do I know which one is taking priority? I guess right now his guards are going to be in here any second. And then I'll dovetail onto that. As you're looking at the archway and you hear the chair scrape, and you know it doesn't take Linka very long to motivate his men. And you look over at the tankard and the squelching sound of the eye moving around underneath it. So I'll leave that with you. Brynjar, what are you doing with the box? Do you still have the box with that mask in it?
no, I put it on the chair while everything was going on.
Okay.
So I'm still holding down the tankard, making sure the eye doesn't jump out.
All right. Ashley, what are you doing?
I guess I'm gonna quickly discern the area to look for any possible escape routes.
Okay. Go for it. So it'll be your dice plus wisdom.
By the way, can I just ask,
10.
is it
No, go ahead, Brynjar.
It's a 10.
is it the type of tankard you can close, seal it on the top?
Roll me 1d6. 1 through 3, it doesn't, and 4 through 6, it does. All right, Ashley, what did you get? You got a 10?
10, yes.
All right, so ask me 3 questions from that Discern Realities list.
Sorry, what? What page is it?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's let's see here. It is on. Sorry, I'm using like the printout one. Here, actually, you know what? Here, let me just do this. I'll read it.
68, page 68, 68.
Oh, there you go. Okay, cool. Thank you very much.
And while she's looking for that, I'm going to do a scout floor
Okay.
to see if I know the structure of the building, and know there's like a secret passageway in the study, like an escape route, basically.
I like it. Roll it plus intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Okay, for my questions
Ashley, for your
3.
question.
For my questions 3, what should I be on the lookout for?
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. What here is not what it appears to be.
Okay.
And what here is useful or valuable to me.
Okay. What here is useful or valuable to me is, just because of the roll that you got, I'm going to give you 2 items. The figurine on the arm of the chair, and the box with the mask in it.
Okay. Right. I guess I'm going to grab the figurine.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then do you want to do anything about the box, or do you want to just grab the figurine? That's what you want for
Mm,
first.
the I'll grab the figurine. I believe the box is still in the possession of Brynjar.
Well, it's on the chair that Brynjar was in before. So Brynjar is busy holding the eyeball down.
Oh, right. Uh, yeah, I guess I'll grab the box as well.
Okay. And then you said, what here is not what it appears to be?
Yep.
Okay. Let's see here. That mask is connected to the eye. There's something about it. The glow, the subtle glow, and the humming that's coming from that mask is very similar to the feeling that you got when that woman's voice was echoing in your head. And then, what was the first question? Was it what's about to happen?
No.
Sorry.
What I be on lookout for?
What should be on the lookout for? Okay. Blinka has an exceptional ability to throw knives in such a way that he is actually the most dangerous of the three. You've witnessed this in one instance when you were actually trying to get hired for this job when Jutmerlum had brought you here. You saw that somebody was running up the stairs towards the room, and Linka turned around and in one fluid motion flung a small halfling-sized knife straight into the other man's eye. So you need to be on the lookout for his ability to hit you at range.
Okay.
All right.
Now for Jutmerlum, you rolled, what does that end up being?
9. The last to die.
Okay. You know from experience that this man, whatever he was, or what you knew him for, he was very crafty, he was very smart, and he always had a way out. In fact, that way out is through the fireplace.
Through the fireplace. That's currently lit, isn't it?
It is currently lit. But there is a lever that's just on the way up towards the chimney. So you reach in through the fireplace, up past the stone to get to it.
All right. So, and the last thing is Brynjar's roll, right?
Correct.
Yeah, the tanker doesn't have a top on it.
All right. Unfortunately, it does not have a top.
But what I'll do is I'll take a chance and just tilt it a little bit upwards so I can put my hand under it and lift up the tanker.
All right. Can I have you roll Defy Danger?
Yeah.
And I'm going to have you use your dexterity on this.
Yep.
Okay, and Jutmerlum, are you going towards the fire, or what?
Yeah. Okay. So what I'm going to say, Ashley. First of all, are you all right?
I'm fine.
Okay. I need something from you. May not like it, but
Right.
that's what we can do. How much do you have to sacrifice to burn the body to non-recognition? Or nothing is at least left of it?
That's gonna need a lot of fuel.
Now, Ashley, I'm going to go ahead and for the
guess-
first time I'll bring up the bond that you have with Jutmerlum.
All right.
That if I'm reading this correctly, it says I cast something into the fire for Jutmerlum and still owe them their due.
Mm-hmm.
So what was it that you cast into the fire for them for, let's say, banking for a future use?
I think it was my I guess my ties with the menagerie.
Ooh, yeah, it was a very important tie. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if for all you crazy cats that watch sessions here, you know that's what she said before too. So awesome. Okay, so what do you need to have her do? Go ahead and Jutmerlum, and whatever angle that you go in, take a +1 from your bond, Ashley with Jutmerlum, and then we're going to consider that bond satisfied at the end of this.
All right.
Okay. All right.
If we use this eye,
Then.
this eye is clearly of magic, and if we use this eye as the starting fuel, you think it will be enough to at least burn it to ashes, so it will not be recognized? They will not know what happened here.
I agree with burning the body, but not the eye. I think that the eye is of some importance. I sense it's got something to do with this mask in the box. Might be a good idea to do both. And I'll keep the little figurine for safekeeping. Never know when we'll need it.
Fair enough. So, can you at least sacrifice something to make sure that Linka wouldn't know this was the old master?
I believe I can.
All right.
And I motion over, and I start walking over to the
I guess
fireplace.
I focus on.
All right. Excellent.
Okay.
So.
And so I guess I focus on how I sacrifice my ties with my menagerie, and I use with that I'm using my move Zuko style.
Okay.
And then I pull the flames from the fireplace and kind of like sweep it over the body like a blanket of fire, and then it starts to consume the body. Do I need to roll for that?
Yes. So give me a roll
Okay.
plus wisdom, and then +1 for your bond with Jutmerlum.
Okay, so it's
Now,
a
as
plus.
you're doing this, Brynjar, I see a roll there.
Yeah. I got 4.
So I'll have you. Oh wow. Okay. Well, both of you, I guess Ashley and Brynjar, go ahead and mark XP.
Oh, is it done?
Brynjar, Ashley, so you're focusing on this fire, and you're wanting to bring it out and to consume Halogel's body. But as the fire sweeps out, Brynjar, can I have you roll a D4 for me?
A D4?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so 3. So I need you to take 3 points of mental damage. So this is not going to exclude armor. And that's something we didn't bring up before when we had physical damage, was that you minus away your armor rating. So whatever damage you took previously, make sure you subtract your armor rating on that.
Yeah, but I was between the fingers, so I guess it didn't matter.
Correct. Yeah. So I mean, you bled a little bit, but it's nothing you haven't had before. So but you do take 3 points of damage as your mind explodes with images that flow through your head, and it's overwhelming at this point. And as Ashley is sweeping this fire outward, the fire actually, Brynjar, it doesn't touch you, because what's happened is you've lifted up the mug with your hand, but the fire actually lit the mug up, and it burns, and you drop the mug, and the eye is left in your hand, and it's looking right at you, and you feel it just seeing into your very being, and then you feel anger. You feel a woman's rage, just screaming in absolute rage, and it's burrowing into your soul, and you're feeling your bones rattle with the force of it. And the fire sweeps over you. It seems like almost the eye is keeping you from being burned because it wants to look at you longer. It wants to remember you. It wants to know your face. And then the eye looks over your shoulder at the blade of your axe. And for some reason you think it knows. It knows the name Oakenshield. It knows the name Oakenshield, and the flame flows over you like a blanket, and it heads towards the hallway. And it bursts into flames on the archway. And you see Linka coming in. He had a knife out, and he was about to throw it, and then he ends up getting consumed by the fire instead. And he falls over. And the orc and the human are there, and they're drawing blades, and they're looking down at Linka, and they're looking at each other and looking at you. And Jutmerlum, you pull the lever on the fireplace, and the fireplace, it's now free of flames, so you're open to see that the passageway opens behind you, behind the fireplace, and there's a
a narrow staircase that leads down, and you know that this leads out to an alleyway that leads to the stable where horses are left.
Mm. So
at this stage, the eye looks at you, Brynjar, and it bores into your soul. And again, you're feeling this. What's going through your head right now of the things I've described?
All the faces and all the voices.
all right,
People I've executed over the years.
we're doing this again.
Men, women, children, natives and locals to the Pelso clan, foreigners. Just their eyes staring at me.
I'm going to right here evoke my bond, and I'm going to do the interfere to get him grounded on himself.
Beautiful.
All right.
An applause.
So if you do not know from the session 0, I said Brynjar is weak-minded and easily persuaded. He must be watched closely.
Oh.
So here I'm going to invoke the bond. We're having that worry and just try to pull him back, trying to keep him level-headed. And we are going to get a 8, but I don't know what.
Add your bonus to the bond. So.
Okay, so I have a +1 then, so it's a 9. It is a 9.
Yeah.
All right. So Brynjar, so what do you do because you see Brynjar's eyes are just wide open, and Brynjar, as you're hearing those voices echoing through your head, you hear that one person that you remembered saying, she sees, she watches. And so what do you do, Jutmerlum, that jars him free of this?
Okay, are you holding your axe right now, Brynjar?
No, it's stuck on my back.
It's stuck on your back? Alright. So I grab the axe and pull you back, and I whisper into your ear, you were just following the law.
Oh.
And I snap out of it and realize where we are and what mission we are on. I look at the eye and just close the fist, holding me like this.
And you squish it? Alright,
Not
you
squishing
squish
it, but
Oh, sorry.
just keeping it contained and not looking at it.
Okay. It's starting to kind of burn in your hands. So the two guards are starting to come to their senses, and they're looking angry right now because they see the dead master. They see Linka burning alive right now. The shrieks of the halfling are starting to fill the upper room, but that passageway is open now. So what do you guys do? Ashley, you have the figurine and the box, correct? Is that right, Ashley?
Yep.
Okay, good. All right. So what do you guys do now?
I look at.
I guess I look
Go
at
on.
the. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, I with my fist closed. I look at Jutmerlum and just say, "You have to get out of here."
Yeah. So I go and gesture to everybody. There's not much time left. We need to go now. There's supplies down there. We must make our haste. They will find us if we stay.
Alright, so I'll do all of
I agree. Let's go.
Should I take fire damage from the eye?
No, you it's burning in your hand right now, and it's still moving around furiously at this point.
But it's not hurting me. It's just burning.
Just uncomfortable, yeah.
It's burning on a different level. It's more of like it's seeping into. It's almost like your blood is starting to boil, and you're starting to feel pressure behind your eyes.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have all three of you roll Defy Danger, and you're making your escape. And so whichever mode of escape you want to use, whether it's for you, Brynjar, is it Constitution to kind of steer around this horrible feeling that you're getting and latching on to Jutmerlum's powerful support.
I'll use strength to push through.
Okay, all right.
And
And Ashley.
I'll think about it and just go ahead.
Okay, Ashley, what are you going to use?
I guess I'm gonna use wisdom.
Okay. All right, and then Jutmerlum, you're going to use strength. Okay, so let's go ahead and see. I want to see what everybody gets here.
5. Mine's a 5.
Okay, 5.
6.
Right, and then for Jutmerlum, it looks like it was potentially also a failure. I'm not sure. I think he had to step away
I
briefly.
think he said strength.
The strength, right? So actually, let me take a look at his character sheet super quick. Strength, he has a +1, so yeah. So it looks like, okay, so all three of you mark XP. And then Jutmerlum and Brynjar and also Ashley, go ahead and mark an additional XP because of satisfying a bond. So I'm going to make sure that you add that in as well.
Okay.
Everyone or just the two?
I think Jutmerlum satisfied a bond with Brynjar, I believe.
Yes,
Right.
and Ashley satisfied a bond with me. Yeah.
So that's, I believe, and I'll have to check the rules. We'll double check, but I would say go ahead and mark XP for both of you, and
So mark
and then Ashley,
is,
you get XP for satisfying your bond as well. So
Okay.
I'll make sure that's there. So okay, so you guys are like just there's this powerful fear that's going through you, but you race towards the exit, and you manage to get to the top. But Jutmerlum, you're trying to like push your way through the door. The door didn't quite open all the way, and you're trying to push your way through, and you finally get it to open, but unfortunately you end up hurting your left hand.
Okay.
Your hand is wounded, so roll your damage die. And we'll see how much damage you take.
Like my regular damage die?
Your regular damage die, yeah,
dear.
because this is kind of built off of what you're doing. Ashley, as you go through, you're trying to make your way in. So minus armor on that.
Okay, so I only have 1 armor, so I take 9 points of damage then in that case, right?
Correct. So you end up breaking your left hand.
Ouch.
In your escape.
Oh.
Ashley, as you're making your way through, you were using dexterity, or what were you using?
Wisdom.
Wisdom. Okay. So you're trying to go through. You're trying to make your way through, and you realize that you want to try and take 2 steps at a time as you're trying to race down the stairs. But unfortunately, you end up pushing into Brynjar. It probably is one of the reasons why the wound is so severe, is that you bumped into him pretty heavily. But you managed to get downstairs. Brynjar, what were you using? You were using strength or
Strength.
strength to get through as well. Go ahead and roll your damage die in this as well.
Oh, thank God. Just do it.
Okay, so minus armor on that. And
Minus armor.
the eye. So I'm assuming you're still holding the eye, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're holding the eye, and you manage to get down the stairs, but it bursts inside your hand, and you actually feel the fire. There's an actual burning on the surface of your skin as it bursts open. And the last thing that you hear in your eyes, or in your head, Brynjar, is,
I will find you, Oakenshield. I will find you.
and that's the last thing that you hear as you guys make your way into the alley and across to the stable. There's horses that are available that you could use, or do you want to duck into the alleys on foot?
I'd say we go straight for the horses. We get out. We have to get out.
Yeah.
So the camera pulls back a little bit as you guys are. It's kind of like a top-down view from the sky, and we see the top view of this alley, and you three spill out into it. Brynjar, you're clutching your left arm. Ashley, you've got the box. You've got this figurine secured away, but you have the box with the mask in it under your arm. And then Brynjar, you're stumbling outward as well as you're like wiping the viscera and the ooey gooeyness of the eye off of your hands. You make it into the stables and you grab horses, and we see you disappear for a little bit, and then seconds later the sound of horses crying out in the night as you tear down the alley. Well, I'm sorry, and crying out in the daytime because we're descending into morning. And people start parting the way out of the way as you start racing away. Now, are you guys going to stay in the city, or are you trying to leave the city?
I think we're gonna leave the city.
So the camera watches as you guys leave the city and out of the gateway, and you race off to the north and to the one road that leads out, because the other entrance to the city is actually the harbor. And you tear off into the distance, dust flying up behind you. And the camera like goes dark for a moment. And we feel like we're confined, like we're inside this tiny, tiny box. And then the light starts to shine, and we see two slits, two eyes, openings really. And as the glow starts to grow, it's this greenish glow that starts to suffuse with blood red, and then swirls of yellow. And we see the mask inside the box. And then the last thing we see is we hear as the camera goes dark is, "I will find you." And that's the end of the session. We will close it here, folks. And if you're wondering exactly why the heck are we closing on a cliffhanger, well, that's because we're going to be continuing this on with this party. We are going to go ahead and set this up for a trilogy or more. It depends on where the story is going to take us. But we want to make sure that we told a full story. And I think we just had so much fun putting everything together. Harlan and the guys and Chris, they came together and they thought, you know what, let's give these guys a little bit more room to tell a story. So I'm completely thankful to them for doing that. So big thanks again to these guys, to Jutmerlum, his player Juan. He did have to leave suddenly, but we almost made it to the end. I was hoping we'd make it, but we're very close. But big thanks to him for the contributions. A big thanks to Gerard, for Ashley, for a very unique take on the immolator and what sacrifice really means. And a fantastic thanks to Oskar for playing Brynjar, and such a deep character that, you know, the haunting of an executioner, what goes on in their soul. I mean, I'm totally floored by how in depth you guys are with these characters. And then lastly, I want to throw a thanks out to Marius. He had built a paladin that was structured on a very unique history, and we had worked together to try and tailor that for the world. And I want to make sure that he knows that I'm honoring that with a big component of what's still secret to these guys. But I want a tip of the hat to our friend Marcus for his offering here that he laid at the altar of this game.
And now I'd like to take the word and thank you, Jeff, for being an excellent game master. It's been really, really fun. It's really enjoying to listening to you talk and explain things. And just
thank you. I'm having a ball. You guys are awesome.
Yeah.
So.
And you taking the day off.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Jeff. This session was really, really fun, and I love the way you described things and how immersive it made the world feel, and like I'm really honored that you are jamming for us, and especially considering that we're all different time zones. Like you had to wake up really, really early in the morning, like 6:30, to do this for us, and I'm really, really grateful for you to jam us.
That's what coffee is made
coffee.
for. Yeah, definitely. No, it's absolutely my pleasure to be part of something that reaches around the world. I mean, literally around the world. I mean, oh my gosh, it's still. I know we've had technology forever. All right, kids out there, you've had this since you were born. But as an old fella like myself, it's just still floors me that we're able to do something like this and make it happen in such a fashion. So I'll bring it to a close here. I want to send out a huge thanks again to the Invictus community for being so awesome to bring us all together like this. It is so great to get out there on Facebook, look for the Invictus community stream, the Invictus stream out on Facebook. There's a page, like the page, then head over to the group. You're going to get in no matter what. You can. It doesn't matter. You're going to be in because this community is so awesome, so inclusive, so respectful and honoring of other people's ideas, and just feeding off of one another and having a blast. I know of no other group that I could bombard with pictures of Judge Dredd than this group, and I love doing it. And then a big thanks to Harlan and Justin and Michael and Chris for making this possible and for being an awesome support group to get us up and running. And last but not least, I want to thank Chris Lawrence. You're out there and you're probably watching this. I'm looking for the viewership, and there's always one that's blinking in, and I think it's you. But thanks a lot, Chris, for heading up the community and keeping things moving smoothly. You keep telling me that I'm doing all of this work. I'm like, this is the least amount of work for prep that I've done for a game, and it owes itself to Dungeon World, but a lot of it owes to Chris's organizational skills and keeping things running. So he makes the hard calls. He does a great job. So we're in excellent hands with him as an organizer. So for that being said, I'm going to toss it to Gerard, because as he always says,
See you guys around the table.
all right, thanks a lot, you guys. We'll talk to you later. Have a great time.